Hello, everybody. You know what? Let me just pull this up on so that I could see if anybody comments because I don't see it on my computer. No?
So that I can see if anybody comments.
Let's just turn this down. I'll just wait a minute, see if anybody comes on. It says Brooke is here. Hi, Brooke. I don't think I know you. Do I? Where are you from? Hi, Susie. Your names are popping up that you're watching. How are you? I was just waiting. Well, all right, I waited a minute. So we can get started because I know it's a busy time of year. Okay, so what we're going to do here, everything I do is always workshop style, and it's experiential. So we are going to tap away some of your stress and worry and the uncertainty that it can cause, right, around this time of the year. So let's do this. I want you to close your eyes. Okay. I'm glad you're hanging in there. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, right? And, if you're watching the replay, please type hashtag replay. Let me know that you watched it, no matter when it is, and tell me where you're from. And I'd love it if you wanted to share in the comments what you are uncertain about with the holidays. That way I can really help you through this whole process, and help you to really break down more of what's going on so you have more of a breakthrough. So for whoever's watching, I want you to close your eyes, and hopefully your feet are planted on the ground if you're sitting. And I just want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out your mouth. Right? Sigh it out. And just feel your body in your seat. Maybe take another deep breath in through your nose. And again, sigh it out. Right? Feel your body relaxing and arriving here, right, for this time that you're giving yourself. And I'd like you to call in your higher power if you believe in a higher power, and just ask for divine guidance. Help divinely guide me tonight in order to break down and break through easily and gently so that I can have more love and joy and great memories around the holidays. And now I want you to generally think about your uncertainty. I know it can be lots of things that's going on, and that's fine for right now. General uncertainty. What number is that on a scale of 0 to 10? Right? What number is that? And then we're going to do a little bit of tapping just on this general uncertainty. Okay, so I'll just show you quickly if you're not familiar with tapping. These are the tapping points, right? Top of the head. Wait a minute. Let me just move myself back a little bit, right? Top of the head, I use the whole hand towards the back of the head. Inside the eyebrows, I use both hands, just like one finger, right? It's the start of the eyebrows. And then outside the eyes, it's towards the corner of the eye, under the eye, right on top of the cheekbone. And then one hand, I just use 2 fingers under the nose, right where the chin goes in, under the collarbone. I like using both hands here. You can also do it right in the center here with a gentle fist, but my necklace is like, the charms kind of hit it right in that spot, so that doesn't work for me today anyway. Right, so I do here, and then under the arm, right under the armpit, it's about 4 inches under your armpit where it meets your ribs, like your breastbone and your ribs meet here, so it's right in line with your chest where your bra strap is. All right, so those are the main points. EFT means emotional freedom technique, so it's freeing you from unwanted emotions. Tonight we're focusing on uncertainty, and why is that important, right? So you want to be able, I think, right, if you're here watching this, you want to be able to have more love and more joy and more fun and have great memories around the holidays, and not be a basket case about who's going to say what about you, or are they going to like your food, or just rushing around and not having enough time, and pleasing everyone, and maybe not having enough time for yourself, and the uncertainty of running into old family that you haven't seen in a while, and you have to see them around the holidays because you have no choice, and right, there's just a lot of stuff there. You could be traveling and there's uncertainty there. Right, there could be lots of things that are all balled up into this uncertainty, so the number could be really high. All right, the number could be really high, and that's okay right now. So we're just going to do some tapping and breathing right now, because I don't know where your numbers are at, but if you are above a 7, then we want to just do some tapping and breathing, and just to get that 7, to get the number down a little bit to closer to 7, right? And then we'll move on from there. So tapping right on the side of your hand, right? I'm just right on the side of my hand here. Doesn't matter which hand. And I just want you to take a deep focused breath. So in through your nose, blow it out your mouth, tap the top of your head. Same thing, deep breath in and out. Inside the eyebrows, inhale, full body as much as you can, expand your breath, and exhale. Outside the eyes, same thing. Maybe there's a pause at the top of your inhale. And under the eyes, all right, deep breath, really expand your rib cage, so it expands forward, sides, and back. And under the nose, right? As you take a deep breath and everything expands, right? There's a pause at the top and really blowing it out on your exhale. So the breathing and the tapping work even better together. I'm not saying then adding words to it, but just if you were tapping alone with no words, it wouldn't be as effective as if you were adding in your breath. Right? It does help things to shift and move faster. And then under the collarbone, right? Deep breath in. And out. And then under the arm. Right? If you wanted to do both hands, you could do both hands this way. Or if you can't reach around, you can do it this way, right? Or like this. I just usually do one hand here. And the same thing, deep breath in. All right, and then just relax and take a pause here, close your eyes, right, and let that settle in. And then just notice, has your number shifted at all? Or are you more focused on what you really need to be working on tonight? Because as I said, I realize there could be a lot of things that are triggering you around this holiday season, but I want you to focus on the most intense piece of it tonight, because that will help to quell down all of it. But we have to start somewhere with one thing, because that will help you to shift and go farther faster. All right, so coming up with one thing. Even though I'm uncertain about XYZ, fill in the blank, because it's making me feel what? Fill in the blank. Right? And I realize it might make you feel a few different ways. Could be angry, could be sad, resentful, whatever it is. Unsafe. Right, so obviously if you're watching this replay, you can pause this and reflect, right? So for the sake of the people that are watching, right, we're going to continue. So now that you have this one thing that we're working on, we're going to set it into your subconscious by tapping on the side of your hand, and you're just going to repeat after me what I'm saying. Now, this is very general, and I'm just using my intuition here. So if it doesn't sound right, you can just change the words and make it your own. And again, if you need help with it, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can either comment here or direct message me. So you'll repeat after me. And this is what's called a setup statement and acceptance phrase. So even though I'm feeling uncertain about, you'll say all of that and fill in the blank. Because, fill in the blank. This is making me feel, right? And what numbers are you at on those words? It's making me, this uncertainty is making me feel what? Worried, sad, right? In fear, right? What are those words? Pick the word that has the highest number. And we'll continue with that here. All right, so even though I'm feeling uncertain about the holidays, because, right, keep repeating what I'm saying and fill in the blank, because it's making me feel this way. Use the one word. And if you really have two that are neck and neck with numbers, that's fine. Use the two words. And I'm just choosing to honor how I feel about it right now. And even though I feel uncertain about the holidays, because this situation, say what it is making me feel this way, fill in the blank, I'm just choosing to acknowledge I feel this way. And even though I feel uncertain about the holidays, because it's making me feel this way, this is just how I feel right now. All right, and then top of the head. So you're going to say the word that came up for you, right? The uncertainty is making me feel what? That's what you want to say here. So I feel this. Just say the word. Sad, worried, whatever it is. Inside the eyebrows. Feeling this. So just replace the word this with your word. All right, outside the eyes. All this. Under the eyes. This. Under the nose. All this. On the chin. This. Under the collarbone. All this. And under the arm. This. Now pause and close your eyes. Take a deep focused breath in through your nose, right? And blow it hard out your mouth and just let that round settle in. Now it's very normal to feel tingling, energy moving, swirling in your head, right? If you're new to tapping, that's all normal because it will pass and it's just energy shifting and moving. All right. So we will continue. So I'm curious, right? To be curious, what's your number now? Just with that word that we were tapping on in the round, right? What's your number now for that? And if it stayed the same, there's a few reasons. You're either connecting it to more than one issue. You're not able to maybe stay completely focused on what we're doing. Maybe you're distracted. And maybe it's not the right word for you. Okay? Now, hopefully you didn't get worse. If you did, just continue with tapping and breathing for now. That's fine. Hopefully your number did come down a little bit. And I wonder, just going to ask you to add in some artful and creative words here. Hi, Melissa. So some artful and creative words would be the feeling that you're having, this worry, fear, doubt, sadness, resentment, whatever the word is that you're working on. Do you know where you feel that in your body? Right? Do you feel more calm now that we've tapped a little bit and you notice that you were tense in some areas like your shoulders, or do you feel a heaviness, or was there shallow breathing or a tightness in your chest? Those are all things to notice. And if there was a color to these physical feelings, or like a mass size, what size is it? Is it a quarter? Is it a baseball? Is it a melon? Is it big as an elephant? Or heavy as an elephant? And if it had internal weather to it, what would it be? Would it be stormy, like a tornado? Would it be a block of ice? These are things that I hear all the time from my clients. So you can add in those words as we tap through. Okay? So back to the top of the head, and you're going to say your word that you're working on, right? And then if it's connected to your body, and if it's not, that's okay. Just keep tapping your word, right? So maybe it's this fear in my chest, right? I'm just giving you some examples, right? Inside the eyebrow. This doubt that's in my shoulders, right? This stormy cloud that's in my chest, right? Under the eyes. This stormy fear that's in my chest, right? So fill in your words, whatever is working for you here. Under the nose. If it had a color to it, right? Maybe this red stormy fear, right? On the chin. And keep repeating your words. All this in my, right? And then under the collarbone. All this. And it's in my. And then lastly here, you can say with the body part first, like my chest has all this fear. Right? Or my shoulders have all this heaviness. Something along those lines. Or my shoulders are holding all this fear or doubt. All right? So pause and just notice, how did that feel to say all of that? Right? Close your eyes, just let it settle in. And reflect, where are you at now with your issue, right? I'm uncertain about XYZ because it makes me feel, right, this way. So test back to that. And do you have any new perspectives? You know, is your number still going down? And we're going to do one more round on that with the same kinds of words. All right, and then here's another tip. If your words changed, like if you felt like you started with anger and that was a high number, and then once you tap that a little lower, you realized it was sadness, you want to do a new statement to make sure that your subconscious knows exactly what you're working on. All right, so you would say 3 times that even though statement. All right, so back to your round with your words and your artful and creative words, right? Top of the head. All this, fill in the blank, that's in my, wherever that is. Inside the eyebrows, all this, that's in my, and outside the eyes, right? This red, stormy, or this, white block of ice, that's in my chest or in my back, right? Under the eyes, just keep saying your phrase. Under the nose, keep repeating it. And on the chin, say it again. And under the collarbone. And again. And under the arm, last time, repeating it out loud. Okay, pause, cleansing breath. In through your nose. And blow it out. Closing your eyes and just letting that settle in and percolate a little bit. Noticing, how did that make you feel to say all those words? What is it like now? Right? When you test back, I feel uncertain about this because it makes me feel this way, or whatever your situation is, right? You want to test back to it. All right, and now we're going to move into what's called the unseen therapist, which is optimal EFT. So I practice a few different things. mainly EFT and this next practice, optimal EFT. If you've been to any of my healing and clearing sessions, you've experienced this before. So the founder of EFT, Gary Craig, got a channeled download about 20, it was about 20 or 30, no, I think this was about 20 years ago. And he does not even practice traditional tapping anymore. He only uses this next, like it's like a meditation. And so I study all of this stuff in order to bring everything I've got to you, right? So all you need to do is sit and relax and close your eyes, and I'll guide you through. All I want you to do is bring up an unconditional loving moment. So what do I mean? Hugging your significant other or your child, or snuggling with your pet, or anything that brings a warm and fuzzy unconditional loving feeling is what you want to bring in here right now. And just let that expand in your body. And if you don't have one, you can make one up by just pretending that you're standing in a sea of puppies and kittens, and how can you not feel, feel the love? All right, and this is how you can connect to your higher power or your source within. And we use the higher power here called the unseen therapist. You can use God or Holy Spirit or Jesus or whoever you pray to. And that can be the unseen therapist for you. But in this practice, I do use the unseen therapist name. She is a female, and she is pure unconditional love. So we use her along with this loving moment in order to promote healing within. So she is here with us and here with you in order to help you to break down and break through these feelings that you're having about the uncertainty with the holidays. And the whole idea of doing this is to help to quell your intense emotions, or even if they're low numbers right now, down to 0. Right, so that you feel distance between, like emotional distance between your issue and your emotions. You feel pretty neutral about it, and you're going into this issue and the holidays just feeling freer, lighter, and hopefully just okay with what is, and able to really surrender what is possible here, and like live in the possibility of what good could happen instead of the old pattern of something bad happening. Okay? So I want you to imagine that your higher power or the unseen therapist is hovering above you. And she's blowing in a cool breeze in through the crown of your head. And it comes down the central channel of your body. And this is pure, unconditional, loving, healing energy. If you want, you can imagine it as a white crystalline healing light. And you can feel that glowing in your body and expanding out to the sides, front, back, down your legs to your feet, right? Whole head, throat, shoulders, down your arms to your fingertips, in and out of your spine and all of your organs. This is helping to break down and break through any negative emotions that you're having. Any fear, any doubt, any worry, any uncertainty, any sadness, hurt, emotional pain, resentment that's coming up, any guilt, grief, loss, any self-judgment or judgment you're maybe expecting from others, any lack, right? Lack of money, lack of feeling supported. Maybe you're feeling alone, lonely, abandoned, rejected, anything. I touched on a lot there, so anything that you are feeling that you don't want anymore, she's just blowing right out the bottoms of your feet. It's coming out of your pores, out of your skin, out of your own breath. And whatever tension you might be feeling, or heaviness, or exhaustion, or whatever the physical sensations you were tapping on before, she's blowing through all of that and breaking it all down to dust. All down to dust, breaking through all of it. If you find your mind is wandering, come back to the white crystalline light and or your loving moment. And there's nothing you need to really do here. Just receive. And now I want you to imagine that the white light is now escaped your body, right? It's back up into the unseen therapist. Everything is cleared out of your system. And now from the center of the earth, through the bottoms of your feet, comes an unconditional healing energy that's a vibrant emerald green color. Right? That's coming up through the center of the earth with all of this goodness, this confidence and self-trust and self-worth and self-esteem and happy thoughts and healthy boundaries and whatever you need to do in order to create a safer, happier experience for yourself moving forward. Right? So fill up your body, your legs, your pelvis, your torso with this emerald green loving energy, all the way up through your chest, your heart, shoulders, your throat, neck, to the top of your head, down your arms to your fingertips. So you're glowing this emerald green loving energy. And this is filling you up with incredible confidence, new perspectives and opportunities, and the feeling of what's possible. The feeling of what's possible, being grateful for everything, even the triggers, right? Being grateful even for the uncertainty. Being grateful for all of the feelings that came up with the uncertainty. Because it's all here for a reason, to teach you lessons and more acceptance of those feelings. So just focusing on this emerald green loving energy, and imagine it's not only inside your body, but it's emanating outside your body. And you can even take this a step further by incorporating it with your issue. All right, so imagine your issue, because I'm sure there's people connected to whatever your issue is. Unless it's something that's just, yourself, which is fine. But if your issue is connected to other people, you can incorporate them in this green energy. If that feels right to you, right? If it doesn't, that means there needs to be more healing around it, and that's fine. But this is something that I do with my clients, and it's incredible. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Patrice. I'm filling up my own body with the emerald green energy and imagining it emanating to you, to whoever's watching this at any time. All right. I had some incredible big shifts there, so I'm sure that you did too. So this work integrates over time, right? Whenever you're ready, you can come to and open your eyes and just reflect. How was that experience for you? What thoughts or events or, emotions came up around it? Do you feel better? Do you feel lighter, calmer, more relaxed, right? Like, notice all the things and test back to your initial issue. All right, and how do you want to feel about this issue, right? What is your goal? And that would be your self-care homework until this doesn't exist anymore, right? Is how do I feel about the uncertainty, or how do I feel about how the uncertainty makes me feel? Those feelings that we talked about in the beginning. You want to test back to your numbers, and that when that is a conscious practice, like a conscious, consistent practice, you can absolutely keep the numbers much lower. And then in order to remove it for good, you'd have to work with somebody like me, like a professional, so that we can really dig deeper in order to completely remove this for good. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I really wish you a safe and happy and loving, love-filled holiday season. And I do have there will be a special coming out at the beginning of the year, so stay tuned for that. And if you are interested in working together, you know where to find me. Just reach out. So the replay will be available in here through the holidays, so for the next week. And then if you want it permanently, though, and if you're on my email list, you will get it. If you're not on my email list, you can leave your email below or direct message me your email, and I'll put you on my list. So that's what I have for you today. I really hope that this was helpful. I would love to know. And I will see you soon. Have an amazing rest of 2022. All right, bye for now. Sending lots of love.